The grand mansion stood at the edge of the city like a silent monument of wealth and power. Behind its tall iron gates lived a man who owned half the skyscrapers in town. A man whose signature could change the fate of companies overnight. Yet for all his fortune, for all the marble floors and golden chandeliers that filled his world, he carried a wound money could not heal. His daughter Lily was believed to be blind. From the moment she was a toddler, doctors confirmed it. She never followed the light with her eyes, never reached for colors, never gazed back when her father tried to make her smile. The millionaire, Mr. Alden, built his life around this painful truth. He bought her the finest Braille books, hired the most skilled caregivers, and locked his heart away behind a wall of guilt. He blamed himself for not being there when Lily was born, for leaving her mother to raise her in those fragile first months. By the time he tried to make up for it, it was too late. His only child, his only hope, would never see his face. And so the mansion grew. Cold, filled with servants who moved like shadows, and a father who drowned his emotions in board meetings and business calls. Lily, dressed in perfect gowns, clutched her toys, and wandered halls in silence. Everyone accepted the story. Everyone believed what the doctor said. Everyone except the maid. Before I take you deeper into this story of heartbreak, discovery, and redemption, I have a small request. If you believe in kindness, in miracles, and in second chances, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to our channel, Kindness Corner. Your support helps us spread more stories that remind the world of compassion and love. The maid's name was Clara, a young woman in her 20s who had grown up with little more than determination in her pockets. She worked long hours scrubbing marble floors that reflected her tired face and dusting furniture she could never afford. Yet Clara carried a light inside her that poverty couldn't dim. She treated Lily not as a patient to be pitied, but as a child who deserved warmth, laughter, and friendship. From the very first day, Clara noticed something others seemed blind to. When she entered the room carrying a tray, Lily's head turned slightly before Clara made a sound. When she arranged fresh flowers in a vase, Lily's gaze lingered on the bright petals for a heartbeat longer than coincidence could explain. And once, when Clara accidentally dropped a shimmering hairpin on the carpet, Lily's eyes flickered down as though following its sparkle. Clara didn't dare speak of it at first. Who was she? A maid earning barely enough to feed her younger siblings back home to question the words of doctors and the beliefs of a man as powerful as Mr. Alden. But her heart whispered what her lips could not. Lily could see. Not perfectly, perhaps, but enough. Days turned into weeks, and Clara began to test her quiet suspicion. She would place toys at different angles, watching how Lily's hand reached unerringly toward the one that shone under the sunbeam. She held up a flashlight, pretending to clean, and caught the faint narrowing of Lily's pupils. Every sign deepened her conviction, but it also filled her with fear. If she was wrong, she could lose her job. If she was right, then a terrible truth had been hidden beneath years of silence. The breaking point came one golden afternoon when the mansion's tall windows bathed the playroom in daylight. Lily sat in her red dress, a stuffed bear nestled in her arms. Clara gently shone a small torch toward her eyes, not to frighten her, but to see once more if there was a spark. And there it was, a flicker of life, a reflection of light, proof that sight had not been lost. Clara's breath caught, her hands trembling in disbelief. She whispered inside her heart, "This child isn't blind. She's been trapped inside a story that isn't hers." At that very moment, footsteps echoed across the polished floor. Mr. Alden stood in the doorway, his sharp suit of contrast to his weary eyes. He froze, watching Clara with the torch in hand. Lily's innocent face turned toward the light. A storm of suspicion filled his expression. But what he saw next broke something inside him. Lily's eyes, wide open, alive, glistening, following the beam. The air grew heavy. Clara feared she had ruined everything. But it was Lily who shattered the silence. She smiled faintly and reached out toward the light, her small voice trembling as she said, "It's so bright." Mr. Alden staggered back, his heart pounding. For years, he had accepted blindness as fact, carrying the guilt like chains around his soul. To hear those words, to see his daughter respond, was it possible? Could it be true? His knees weakened, and for the first time in his life, the mighty millionaire felt powerless. Clara stood tall, her voice steady, though her heart raced. She explained everything she had observed, the subtle movements, the signs everyone else ignored, the tests she had done. Quietly in the corners of her duties, she confessed her fear of speaking up, but also her certainty that Lily was not blind, only misunderstood. Mr. Alden struggled to absorb it. He remembered the doctors, the endless appointments, the grim faces that delivered verdicts he never dared to question. How could a maid with no medical training see what none of them did? And yet, in front of his own eyes, the truth was undeniable. What followed was a whirlwind. Specialists were summoned, not the ones who had dismissed Lily before, but new voices willing to look again. Tests were run, lights shone, patterns drawn, and slowly the reality unfolded. Lily suffered from a rare condition that limited her vision, but did not take it away entirely. With therapy, patience, and the right treatment, her sight could grow stronger. Mr. Alden wept in private chambers where no one could see him. For years, he had believed his daughter lived in darkness, and in his silent sorrow, he had distanced himself, afraid to cause her more pain. But all along she had been waiting for him to notice, to reach out, to believe. And it was not the wealth of empires that gave her a chance at life, but the compassion of a maid who refused to ignore the truth. As weeks turned into months, Lily's progress bloomed like spring after a long winter. She began to notice colors. The blue of her teddy bear, the green of the garden leaves, the gold of sunlight dancing on the floor. Mr. Alden devoted himself to being present, reading picture books with her, guiding her hands as she painted messy rainbows, laughing when she pointed out the sparkle of his cufflinks. But most of all, he could not forget Clara. Her courage had rewritten his daughter's destiny. He offered her riches, promotions, anything she desired. Clara, humble as ever, asked only that Lily be given love and time, the things money could never buy. She continued working in the mansion, not for the salary, but for the bond she had built with the little girl whose world was opening day by day. The story of Lily spread quietly among neighbors, then across the city. It became a tale whispered in markets and coffee shops. How a billionaire's daughter, once thought blind, was saved by the heart of a servant girl. People found hope in it, a reminder that truth often hides in unexpected places, and that kindness has the power to change lives more than wealth ever could. For Alden, the transformation was profound. He no longer measured his worth by the contracts he signed or the buildings that bore his name, but by the light in his daughter's eyes when she ran to hug him after a day of therapy. He no longer sat alone in boardrooms. He knelt on playroom rugs, building castles of blocks with Lily and Clara. The mansion, once silent, now rang with laughter, with music, with the simple joy of a child discovering the world she had been told she could never see. And Clara, though she never sought recognition, became the quiet hero of their story. To Lily, she was more than a maid. She was the sister she never had, the guardian angel who saw what others could not. To Mr. Alden, she was the reminder that the greatest treasures in life are not found in vaults, but in the courage to care. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that even the smallest acts of kindness can change the course of a life, please like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Your support helps us keep bringing these true-to-life emotional stories to the world. Before we end, I have one special request. Please leave a comment below. Share what this story meant to you or a time when someone's kindness changed your life. Your words might inspire someone else who needs hope today. And so, the mansion at the edge of the city was no longer a monument of wealth alone. It became a home where light poured into windows and hearts alike. A place where a child learned to see, a father learned to love, and a maid proved that even in the grandest halls,